Why is the game not showing up? Where's the game? Oh no. Well, fix. What the heck is this? What the no? Get the calculator off. Why is the calculator on the screen? uh, okay. Put the calculator a little bit. I need to get better at my maths. So how about simple one? What's 6 plus 4? What's it, guys? What is it? I want to say it's 15, but let's see. No, I was off. I was off by a long margin. There we go. It's back up. Oh, and you probably noticed something kind of weird about my face, my faces. So I was trying to do something different with VC face. I was playing in settings, and I did this like thing where the my camera is supposed to pick up on my actual emotions, and a flip to it instead of me having to hit a button. It's kind of cool, but it's so sensitive. Like I don't even. My eyes aren't that droopy. Why are my eyes looking that droopy? I didn't make that expression. Why are you making that expression for me? Why are you doing it? I don't like it. It's kind of dumb and a bit cursed, maybe? That's how weird and kind of random it is. See? I ain't doing that. I'm just moving my eyebrows. But apparently I'm making the shock face. I'm shocked and concerned. Oh no. Oh my. What to do? How do I fix this? Oh. Oh no. Okay, now I'm about to. I'm not even sure what this fit. Oh. Can you go back to neutral? Okay. I canceled it out. No more of that. I thought it'd be something cool. I thought, yay, we fixing a couple hurdles. Like, no, it's so bad. So no, I can't do it. But it's fine. It's good. We're gonna read a bit of Legend of the Golden Witch tonight. Then probably need to click off soon. Only for about probably an hour. I had to might get my word count in. I'm so far behind. I'm not gonna make the mission. Uh, 1 second. Okay, sorry that happened. Mama Hanya, except Archery, Mama Hanya is still not feeling well, so I have to help her. So I gotta stop. No, we're still good. Still can do this for about an hour. Sorry. uh, not having a good day today. Good day? Good day? I don't have any of those. I was just thinking for a good day for this Hanyo. Warning. The episode is locked. Huh. Load. Still on the first page. Yep. So, what happened last time? I think it was... yeah, Maria had her little psycho moment. Where she acted like she was possessed by a witch. And it was cute and adorable. Battler is feeling determined to solve the mystery. Putting on his little detective hat. And what else do we have going on? Oh yeah, so Ava is prime suspect number 1. And Natsui is kinda might be starting to lose it soon. Now let's get in. Lunch ended, and the servants removed the tableware and went to the kitchen. The wind and rain neither weakened nor strengthened, and the island remained cut off from the outside world. At first, it seemed as though Natsui planned to stop anyone from taking a step outside the room. But when it came time to prepare lunch, she finally realized this would be impossible. However, in order to avoid having anyone alone in the kitchen, she told the 3 servants to go together. Because of that, the servants were the first ones given the right to leave the study. To leave the stuffy parlor, which had been packed with 11 people. Since breakfast had immediately followed that terrible incident, preventing most from us from eating much, everyone tore into their lunches and slice.
私が洗いますから、源氏さんとカノン君は少し休んでいてくださいな。
I'll wash the dishes, so you can rest a while. Kanon-kun, Genji-san.
何か飲みます？
Do you want something to drink?
私は結構。
I don't need anything.
カノンは
Kanon?
僕も結構です。
I don't need anything either.
お二人とも早朝から大変だったでしょう？
You two must have been so busy, and so early in the morning.
参ってしまうのも仕方ないことですよ。
It's no wonder you're worn out. The only noises was that Kumasawa washing the dishes, which resounded throughout the kitchen. Genji and Kanon sat in some chairs in a short distance away, their eyes lightly closed. Just as Kumasawa had said, those two had probably built up a great deal of fatigue. But that didn't mean they could let it show in front of their relatives. Avoiding that was one of their virtues. After the silence had continued for some time, Kanon opened his mouth and muttered.
シャノン、どうしてあんなひどい死に方を。
Why did you have to die in such a horrible way?
死に方のことは忘れなさい。
Forget about the manner of death.
ただ、運がなかっただけだ。
It was nothing more than bad luck.
そうですね。
You're right.
ただ、
It
運が
was
なかっただけです。
nothing more than bad luck. They both fell silent once again. Cannon's expression was filled with grief.
シャノンちゃんが死んじゃったなんて
To think that Shannon-chan's actually dead.
未だに信じられませんよ
I still can't believe it.
本当にかわいそうに
Poor thing.
もう会えないなんて嘘みたいですよ
Not being able to see her again feels like a lie.
もう一度あの子の笑顔が見たかったのに
I just wanted to see her smiling face one more time. Kumasawa spoke with her back facing them. After all, Kumasawa hadn't seen Shannon's corpse, so she had no trouble mentioning Shannon's face. When Cannon heard those words, it reminded him again of how only half of Shannon's face had been left, and his grieving expression twisted even further.
どうしてベアトリーチェ様はシャノンを
Why did Beatrice-sama do that to Shannon? Shannon.
生贄が欲しかったなら他にも大勢いただろうに
If she wanted a sacrifice, there were plenty of others to choose from.
どうして
Why?
どうして
Why?
ただ運が悪かっただけだ。
It was nothing more than bad luck.
少しの運がたがえば
If we were lucky, you or
シャノ
I
ンの
might
代
have
わり
been
にあそこ
only
に
like...
横たわっていたの
I
は
know, the T-son.
私だったのかもしれないし
I gotta stop again
お
already.
前
Turn
だ
it
ったの
off.
かもしれない。
Okay, 1 second, guys. Alright. Again. Alright. Last time. That's the last time for the night. No more since it stops. Hopefully. Hopefully. Oh, hello, Gogs! Hi, hello, I'm so sorry. You popped it while I had to walk away. It is chaotic here. It is chaotic in this demonic household. Or apartment hold. One of the two, wherever you want to call it. Okay. Oh, you missed the beginning where you saw all my dumb, stupid expressions. Alright, let's meet. What's this? Second, I gotta check something. 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna go away. I just need to something just popped up on the computer that I need to see real quick. Hopefully, it's nothing important. Alright. Up is good. Okay. Alright. Where are we? It was nothing more than bad luck. If we were less lucky, you or I might have been lying out there instead of Shannon. Ah! Is there any problems? Okay, there's
あ
gonna
るい
be.
は他の誰かだったのかもしれない。
Or it could have been someone else entirely.
すべては運命だ。
Everything is left to fate. Speaking bad already. Had to stop streaming twice. It's not a good night. It was not a good night to do this.
源氏様、
Genji-sama.
奥様の部屋の扉に血のような跡がついていたとおっしゃっていましたね。
You said the door to Madame's room was stained with traces of something like blood, right?
シャッターに書かれていたのと同じもので。
Same substance that was painted on the shutter?
うん、
Indeed.
気味の悪い跡だった。
It was an unsettling mark.
まるで血のついた指でドアノブを引き抜こうとするかのような。
Almost as though someone with blood-stained fingers had been trying to pull out the doorknob.
いや、
No.
扉をかき破ろうとしたのさ。
Scratched through the door.
そんな気味の悪い跡だった。
That sort of unpleasant mark.
ベアトリーチェ様が奥様の部屋を訪れて。
So, does this mean Beatrice came to visit Madame's room?
そして扉を開こうとしたけ
Tried
れ
to
ど
open the door,
開けなかった。
but couldn't? Genji thought back to the time he had seen those traces of blood on the door to Natsui's room, with the substance sticking to the door around the doorknob, and the marks of something scratching against the door. It had definitely appeared as though someone had tried to open the door, but couldn't.
どうして？
How? Hello, Cogs! Hi. Sorry, we having big scuff on stream tonight. Had to stop twice mid-row. But we're good. No more distractions. Possibly. Hopefully. Probably won't. How are you doing today? How?
奥様は生贄を免れたんだ。
How did Madame avoid being chosen as a sacrifice?
もし奥様が選ばれてたなら。
You're fantastic, how am I? I had a decent day. The morning was horrible. Had to take the bus a couple times, which was, nasty. Got home, relaxed for too long. Mama Hanyo tricked me into watching that 911 show with her, the Texas spinoff, and it was good, but I just got trapped watching it. Like, no, Why am I watching this? Then I actually looked at the phone and was like, oh god, the time. I need to actually do some more work today. I need to get productive. So like, okay, let me just stream for a little bit. Then we can go back to getting some more words in. But no, the fates do not allow it. The fates do not smile down upon me, nor do the muses. Now the heat just turned off. even the heat doesn't like me. Nobody likes me. Let's see. I guess one good thing that happened to me, I got more done through listening to the Witching Hour audiobook. Because I wanted to listen to the audiobook one more time before I start getting on that video I wanted to do for the Mayfair Witches. I just forgot how long that stupid book is. And digging a bit. So I'll probably put it on fast mode to skim it. Don't want to skim it. It's an interesting read, just too long. For me, I want to get the video out, hopefully by the beginning of next month.
シャノンは
Shadden wouldn't.
シャノンは死ななくて済んだのに
Shannon wouldn't have to die. Just then, a loud, sharp noise came in from the hall. Both of them turned around, surprised.
面白そうな話じゃねえか。
That's a pretty interesting chat you're having there.
俺も混ぜてくれよ。
Let me join in too. Before any of the servants realized it, Battler was standing in the doorway to the kitchen.
バトル様
Mr. Battler-sama.
これは失礼いたしました
How rude of us. Genji-san and Kanako-kun stood up, surprised, and hastily bowed. But I didn't care about stuff like that. I was more concerned with continuing their discussion.
便所って言って抜けさせてもらったのさ。
I was told I was going to the bathroom, so they let me go.
ずっとあの部屋に閉じ込められてると窒息しちまいそうだったからな。
I thought I'd suffocate if I was locked up in that room any longer.
水でも飲ませてもらおうかと思ったら面白そうな話が聞こえてきたんだよ。
I was about to come to ask you guys for some water, but then I overheard something pretty interesting.
頭なんか下げなくていいぜ。
You don't need to bow your heads or anything.
今の話の続きを聞かせてくれよ。
Please, let me hear the rest.
今のは別に
That just now wasn't really.
ちょいと前から話は聞かせてもらってるんだ。
I've been listening for a while now.
今さら隠すなよ。
Don't try to hide it now.
だから
So
単刀直入に聞くさ。
I'll ask directly.
ベアトリーチェってのは何者だ？
Who is this Beatrice?
どうやらおとぎ話の魔女ってだけじゃなさそうだな。
She's supposed to be some witch from a kid's story, but it doesn't look that way now. Kanaka averted his gaze. It was obvious that he didn't want to talk about this, which only made me want to ask even more. While making an effort to smile, I grabbed the collar of his shirt.
夕べまでなら俺は無関係さ。
Last night, this wouldn't have been none of my business.
だがな、
But
今
after
朝
this
からは違
morning,
う。
everything's changed.
親父たちを殺され
Now
た時
that
点で
Dad and the rest have been
俺は
killed,
立派な関係者だ。
this is totally my business.
俺にもそのうさんくさそうな話を聞かせてもらう資格があるはずだぜ。
I have the right to listen to this suspicious story, don't I? I glared into Kana's eyes as he continued to avert his gaze in apparent pain. Since there was a big difference in our heights, Kana had to stand on his toes, and it looked like it hurt a bit.
バトラさん、
Batla-san,
手を離してやってくださいな。
please let go of him.
別にカノンさんは隠しているわけではないのです。
Kanan-san isn't really hiding anything.
じゃあ話してくれたっていいじゃねえか。
Then you won't have a problem talking about it, right?
仲間外れたら寂しいぜ。
It's lonely being out of the loop, you know. When I tried to further twist up his collar, Genji-san cut between us and spoke. In his expression were faint traces that he made up his mind to do something. Apparently, he had no intention of hiding it.
お話しすることはできます。
I can tell you about it.
ただバトラ様がお気を悪くなされるかもしれませんので、
Conan only hesitated
カノンは躊躇しているのです。
because you might have taken it badly, Batla-sama.
躊躇なんて男らしくねえ
Hesitating,
ぜ。
huh? Not very manly of you.
内緒にされる方が気持ち悪いさ。
Whereas you're talking about is even more unpleasant having it kept secret. Alright,
聞かせてくれよ。
tell me about it. You sure you wanna know?
どうせ明日までできることはないんだ。
It's not like we have anything better to do before tomorrow comes. Oh, you could try to survive.
多少はうさんくさい話の方が退屈も紛れるってもんだぜ。
A slightly spooky story might be the best way to avoid getting bored. Genji-san and Kaneko looked at each other, then nodded as though they decided to talk.
わかりました。
Understood.
何でもお聞きください。
Please ask us anything.
お話しします。
We will talk. We will talk.
ああ。
Right.
じゃあ聞くぜ。
Then I'll ask,
ベアトリーチェってのは一体何なんだ？
who in the world is this Beatrice?
俺が知ってる限りでは、露見島の森に住まう魔女ってことになってる。
All I know is that she's a witch who lives in the forest of Rokujima.
森に入ると危ないからってんで、ばあ様あたりが作り出した脅し話だって聞いてる。
I've heard it from a story. I heard it's a story grandmother or someone invented to keep people out of dangerous forest.
違うのか？
To keep people out of the dangerous forest. Is that wrong?
いえ、違いません。
It's only half the truth. Not even half. It's like a third inch of the truth.
その通りです。
No, it isn't wrong. It's as you say.
ベアトリーチェ様は六軒島の森に住まわれる魔女であらせられます。
Beatrice the witch who dwells in the forest of Rokujima.
バトラ様、
Butler-sama.
にわかには信じられないでしょう
I
が、
don't expect you to believe this all of a sudden.
ベアトリーチェ様は存在するのです。
But Beatrice-sama exists.
親方様に莫大な黄金を授け、
She is a
長い
real
ことおそば
person.
にお仕えした
The one who gave the master a
実
vast
在す
amount
る
of
方な
gold.
のです。
And who worked by his side for many years.
はあ？
Huh? You expect me to believe that?
よせやいよ
Oh,
せや
come on, oh, come on.
い。じい様の受け売りを言うのも給料のうちだっての
Is
か？
grandfather paying you to repeat everything he says? I laughed like it was a joke. But neither Genji-san nor Kanan-kun laughed. Not even Kumasawa Ba-chan, who was avoiding my eyes, flustered as she started washing the dishes. So unfortunately, I was the only one laughing. Painfully, bitterly.
なるほど。
I see.
源氏さんが断るだけはあるぜ。
That's why Genji-san refused to mention it.
こいつは確かに正気じゃ気を悪くする。
If you really mean it, of course I take it badly.
つまり、ベアトリーチェっていう名の人物は実在するんだな。
So you're saying a person named Beatrice actually exists?
はい。
Yes.
親方様が この島にお屋敷を構える以前
She
か
has been working for the
らずっ
master
と
since
お
before the
仕えして
mansion
い
was
る方
built
でございま
on
す。
this island.
おそらく私よりも長くお仕えしているでし
She
ょう。
has most likely been working for him even longer than I have.
なんてこった。キリエさんの仮説は外れたな。
Kiryu-san's theory was off.
じいさまに
Grandfather
ベアトリーチェという名の腹心は
really
実
did have
在
a
したってわけだ。
confidant called Beatrice.
そいつは今この島にいるんだな。
That person on the island right now?
はい、
Yes.
いらっしゃっていると思います。
I believe she is here.
曖昧な言い方だな。
That's a vague way to say it.
ってことは昨日今日そいつの
I
顔を
guess
見
that
たってわ
means
けじゃ
you
なさ
haven't
そう
seen
だ
her face today or something. Or yesterday. I'll repeat that. I guess that means you haven't seen her face today or yesterday?
はい、
That is correct.
大変申し上げがたいのですが、
It is extremely difficult to say, but
その
Kennen-kun once again dropped his gaze, avoiding my eyes.
なんだよそこで切るな
Come
よ。
on, don't just stop there.
鮮度目みたいで気持ち悪いぜ。
That's like freezing an inch before you blow. Right. I urged him on jokingly again. However, it looked like Kennen was still confused on as to whether he should speak or not. Then Kumasawa Ba-chan whispered,
お顔を見ようにも、
You cannot see her face,
ベアトリーチェ様にはお姿がありませんから。
because Beatrice-sama has no form.
お姿が
She has no...
なんだって。
what did you say?
ベアトリーチェ様にはお体がありません。
Beatrice-sama has no body.
ですからベアトリーチェ様がお望みにならない限り私ども凡庸では
Therefore,
お姿を見ることすら叶いません。
unless Beatrice-sama wishes it, common people like us are not able to see her form.
ベアトリーチェ様が人の姿をされていた頃の絵があの肖像画のものなのだとか。
I heard that portrait shows what Beatrice-sama looked like back when she had a human form.
そのお姿を懐かしみ、よく肖像画の前に佇まれているそうな。
It seems he yearned for that figure so much, he would often stand in front of that portrait.
ベアトリーチェ様は時折輝く蝶の姿に身を変えられて現れることがあります。
Beatrice-sama sometimes shows herself by changing her form into glittering butterflies.
万一お屋敷の中でお見かけした場合には決してその後を追ってはならない決まりです。
On the rare occasion that you spot them somewhere in the mansion, there's a rule that you absolutely mustn't chase after them.
追えば不幸があると囁かれています。
It is whispered that you will meet with disaster if you do.
その禁を破り
In fact,
大怪我をして辞めた使用
there
人
was a
も実
servant
際
who
にい
broke
ます。
that rule, and he quit because of a great injury.
おいおいマジかよ。
Alright. Wait a second. Are you guys kidding me?
あんたら本気でそんな
Are
話
you
を
all
しているの
serious
か
about
よ。
this?
バトラス様
Butler-sama.
すでにベアトリーチェ様がお越し
Beatrice-sama
にな
has
ってお
already
ります。
arrived.
そのようなお言葉はよろしくないかと思われます。
May be unwise.
ベアトリーチェ様はご自身を冒涜される方を好みません。
Beatrice-sama does not like it when she is profaned.
その存在を疑えば必ずや不幸が降りかかるでしょう。
If you doubt her existence, you will surely meet with disaster.
バトラさん、気持ちの悪いお話とお思いでしょ。
Butler-san, you probably find this topic unpleasant.
ですがね、
But you know what?
ベアトリーチェ様は いるんです
Beatrice-sama does exist.
います。
She exists.
それを疑われることをベアトリーチェ様はことのほ
Beatrice-sama
か
hates people
嫌われ
who
ます。
doubt that.
わかりませんか、バトル様。
Can't you tell, Battler-sama?
ベアトリーチェ様は今すでに
Beatrice-sama has already
ここ
arrived
にお越し
here.
になっております。
おいおいよせよ。
Come on, come on, quit it.
俺そういうのは弱い
And
ん
we
だ
can
ぜ。
fix that stuff.
脅しっこなし
Not
にし
with
ろ
the
い。
cheap threats. However, there was no trace of joke in the eyes of the three servants. On the surface, I laughed and tried to look unconcerned, but I was quickly starting to sober up. Their eyes were also sobering up fast.
バトラさん、
But son,
お願いですから
I begged yet
ベア
you
トリーチェ
stop
様を冒
profaning
涜することは
Beatrice-sama.
おやめください。悪いことは申し上げません。
Please trust me. Kumasawa Ba-chan, who was he was usually cheerful and would always tease people, now spoke with a totally serious face.
Eh.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
いるって言われてもよ。
well, even you say she exists.
俺には何も見えないぜ。
Don't see anything.
今、俺の隣にいるとでも言うのか
Are you
よ。
trying to say she's standing right next to me or something?
冗談よせ
We're
やい。
joking around. Oh god! That. Aww, little Maria trying to scare us. Oh, that's so cute! Can you pat her head? Can we pat her head? With her little crown? Just then, an unnerving laugh suddenly filled the kitchen. When I turned around, Maria was standing there by the entrance. But her expression and the feeling about her presence, felt exactly the same as the servants.
波長の合う合わないは生まれつきだよ。
Whether you are wavelength matches or not is determined at birth.
バトラは生まれつき波長が合わないタイプなんだよ。
Battler, you were born with mismatched wavelength.
だから見えない。
That's why you can't see her.
会えない。
That's why you can't meet with her.
話せない。
And that's why you can't talk to her.
ベアトリーチェの一番嫌いなタイプだよ。
You're the type that Beatrice hates the most. Maria laughed like it was funny, but it sounded extremely eerie. It was almost like she was laughing at me because I alone didn't understand.
ベアトリーチェのことが知りたい？
Do you want to know about Beatrice?
ベアトリー
Beatrice
チェはね、
is a 1,000-year-old
千年
witch.
の魔女なんだよ。あらゆる悪魔を刺激し、錬金術を極め、賢者の石を生み出し、莫大な黄金を生み出すことができる。
With all the demons at her command, she can harness the power of alchemy to create the Philosopher's Stone and a vast quantity of gold.
おじいさまは彼女と契約することで、後ろ宮家に莫大な富を築いたんだよ。
Grandfather built up all the vast wealth of the Ushimiya family by making a contract with her.
昨日私がベアトリーチェの手紙を読んだでしょ？
I read Beatrice's letter, didn't I?
あれは本当なんだよ。
That was real.
ま、
Well,
バトラ
I
に信
guess
じろ
it's
と言って
pointless
も
for me
無
to
理な
try and
話
force
だろ
you
う
to
けど、
believe.
六感が生まれつきさっぱりみたい
After
だから
all,
ね。
it looks like you were born without a trace of the sixth sense. I love Smug Maria. She was so adorable. What? What are you talking about?
魔女？
Witches?
悪魔？
Demons?
そんなの誰に聞いたんだよ。
Who told you about that?
ーチェ本人に聞いたんだよ。
I heard it from Beatrice herself. Maria kept doing that unpleasant laugh. However, the servants who watched over this didn't even blink. She heard it from the witch in the portrait adorning the entrance hall. Maria kept on laughing in a weird voice, as though this was nothing more or less than the truth.
マリア、聞くだけ野暮だろうが、
マリア。
もう一回聞くぜ。
It might be rude to ask, but I'll ask you one more time, okay?
昨日、マリアにあの手紙を渡したのは誰
Who
だ？
gave you that letter yesterday?
ベアトリーチェにもらったって何度言えばわかるかな。
I got it from Beatrice. How many times must I tell you before you understand?
わかんないよね。
You don't get it, do you?
見えないんだもんね。
You can't see it.
信じられな
You
いもんね。
can't believe it, can you? Just then, Maria's laughter suddenly stopped.
バトラ、
But
まだわかんない？
you still don't understand.
ベアトリーチェ様が
Beatrice-sama exists.
いるって、
She exists, you say.
どこにさ？
But where?
だからベアトリーチェ様が
Like I said,
ここにいるのが。
Beatrice-sama exists here. That's right. Now that I think about it, I've been feeling for a while now that the servants' eyes haven't been pointed in quite the right direction. I figured they were just staring absent-mindedly, but that wasn't the case. The four here, Genji-san, Kanakun, Kumazawa-san, and Maria, everyone except me, was looking at a spot right behind me. Holding my breast tightly, I slowly looked over my shoulder. Of course, there wasn't anyone there. I've known that the whole time. However, everyone in the room except for me was focusing on that point, as if there was someone there.
ベアトリーチェは1000年を生きた偉大な黄金の魔女。
Beatrice is the mighty golden witch who has lived for 1,000 years.
でも波長の合う人間にしか自分の姿を見せられないし、
But since
話
she
しか
can't
けられな
show
い。
her form to humans of the wrong wavelength, she can't talk to them.
だからね、
And you know what?
それがとても悲しいんだよ。
That's really sad.
だからバトラみたいな生まれつき魔法のセンスもかけらのない人に存在を否定されるのがものすごく嫌いなんだよ。
Alright, that was a bit of a doozy. Beatrice is the mighty golden witch who has lived for 1,000 years. But since she can show her form to humans of the wrong wavelength, she can't talk to them. And you know what? That's really sad. It means she truly despises it when people like you, who are born without a fragment of the ability needed to sense magic, deny that she exists.
バトラは幸運だよ。
You're a lucky battler.
昨日私にお守りをもらっていてよかったね。
Good thing I gave you that charm yesterday, right?
それを身につけていなかったら、
But you
今頃
realize
ベ
that
アト
kind
リー
of
チェの
curse
どんな呪いが身に及んでいたか分かったものじゃない。
if you had been carrying it around?
本当に幸運なんだよ、バトラは。
You're a really lucky battler.
ああ、
Oh,
あのサソリの
that
キーホル
scorpion
ダーかよ。
keychain.
あれって安っぽい景品か何かだと思ってたんだが、
I
ちと
thought that
は
was
ご利
just
益あっ
some
た
cheap
って
gift
こ
or
となの
something.
か？
But are you saying it really had some power?
さ それがなかったら今頃バトラがあの倉庫
If it
の
wasn't
中
for
で
that,
顔面
you've
を
been
砕か
lying
れて
in
生
that
贄に
storehouse
さ
as
れ
a
ていたんだよ
sacrifice. Your face crushed by now.
幸運
You're
だ
so
ったよバトラは
lucky, Battler.
そうか。
I see.
あれがなかったら
So, if it
俺
weren't
は
for
今
that,
頃殺されてたって
I have been killed by now.
なんでバトラはベアトリーチェを信じないの
Battler? Battler, why don't you believe in Beatrice?
いるのに
Even though that she exists.
今そこにほら
Right now, over there, look. She's having a blast.
信じる気になったでしょ
Hey, bet you want to believe it now.
信じなよ
Believe it.
マリアにお守りをもらった
And
こと
thank
を
you,
感
and
謝し
thank
な
me
がら
for giving you the charm.
あれがなければバトラは今頃
If it
倉
weren't
庫
for
の
that,
中
you'd be in the storehouse right
代
now.
わりに誰か一人が助かっていたかもしれないね
But then, maybe you would have saved someone else in exchange, right? Right then, I burst into laughter. Playing with witches had been pretty fun up until a second ago, but unfortunately, that last one seemed to be too much for me to gloss over.
じゃあ全
Then
然
is
ダメだぜマ
useless.
リア
Is Maria? Wrong side.
ってことなら悪いが
Yeah, that's
あ
true.
ー全然ダメ
And
だ
I'm sorry, but it's all useless. When Maria saw me suddenly start laughing, she stopped. Even though she didn't understand what I was laughing at, she realized it wouldn't be pleasant for her.
おう
Oh,
お前が傷つくだろうと思ったから俺黙ってたけどよ
I thought it might hurt you, so I didn't say anything earlier, but,
お前にもらったお守りよ
well,
俺
I thought,
ポケットに入れたつもりだったんだけどよ
I thought I put that charm you gave me in my pocket.
どっかに落っことしちまったんだぜ
I must have dropped it somewhere.
だから俺が
So,
今
the
この
charm
瞬
can't
間に
be
無
the
事なの
only
は
reason I'm
お
alive
守りのおかげで
now.
もねえし
And even though I
なら魔
should
女
have
様
been
の
cursed
呪い
by
が
the
あって
witch,
当然なのに
I'm
今この
perfectly
瞬間も
fine.
ピンピンしてる悪いが俺は
Sorry,
自分の目で見たものしか
but I don't
信じ
believe in things I don't see with my own eyes.
第六感
Six senses,
波長
wavelengths,
魔法のセンス
magic sensitivity.
悪いが俺はそういう眉唾なもんは一切信じねえぜ
Sorry, but I don't believe in fake stuff like that.
クラスの女が霊感がいいの悪いのって言い出すのを聞いてると虫唾が走るのさ
When I hear the girls in class start talking about how good or bad their ability to sense the supernatural is, it pisses me off. Oh boy, he's getting serious.
あんたらがいくらじい様に給料をもらってるか知
I
ら
don't
ねえ
know
が
how much grandfather is paying
俺を
you.
妙な宗教に勧誘
If
しよ
you're
う
trying to
ったっ
talk me
て
into joining some cult, he's like Maria, are you trying to indoctrinate me or something?
そう簡単にはいかねえってことを
Believe
よく
me,
肝に銘
you
じ
won't be
て
able
おき
to
や
do
がっ
that
てんだ
easily. I know, you need to at least lure him in with some beautiful girls.
バトラ様
Battler-sama.
カノン
You
君
guys
た
are
ち
free
が
to
信
believe
じる
wherever
の
you
は自
want.
由だぜだが
However,
俺が信じ
when
る
it
か
comes
ど
to
うか
things I believe,
常に
the one
俺が
who decides
自分で決め
is
る
always me.
悪いがこの目で見るまでベアトリーチェなんてうさんくさいものの存在を
Sorry.
信じるわけにはいかないぜ
But I can't believe in something as shady as Beatrice until I've seen her with my own eyes. I spoke forcefully and sharply. Then Maria started cackling again.
ならそれでいいんじゃない
Well, that's just fine, isn't it?
いずれお前のような
Eventually,
波長が全然
people
合わ
like
ない
you,
人の目にも
with
ベ
totally
アトリーチ
mismatched
ェは見える
wavelengths,
ようになる
will be able to see Beatrice.
もうじき蘇るんだよ。
Very soon she will revive.
ベアトリーチェはね。
Beatrice will revive.
そうしたら一緒にいっぱいお話をしたり
Once that happens,
遊んだりしようって約束してるんだよ。
she promised to talk with me and play with me a lot.
疑う必要も無理に信じる必要も全くな
There'll
い。
be absolutely no need for you to doubt, or for us to force you to believe.
現れるんだよ。
She will
もうじき
appear
ね。
very soon. Alright, please step over here in this little pew. You're about to hear the Psalms of Lady Maria as she talks about the great Beatrice. We're gonna fade out. That's the end of the scene. What's happening? Okay, we're back outside. Okay, so we're going back to the parlor room. After a meal, some people tend to head to the bathroom. After a meal, some people tend to head to the bathroom, while others prefer to relax for a bit. It seems that several people had left the parlor, just like I did when I went to the kitchen to drink some water. In the end, Aunt Nasui reluctantly retracted her order that everyone remain packed in the parlor, on the condition that no one headed out on their own or strayed too far. In any case, if 11 people are shut up in the same room starting early in the morning, the air will start to stagnate. Also, quite some time had passed, so everyone was starting to recover from the shock of that morning, and their sense of danger might have been weakening too. However, it was a certain fact that 6 people had been killed inside this mansion, so no one was completely negligent. So, whether they went out into the hallway for a breath of fresh air, trying to act tough, they would quickly get scared of standing there, isolated, and would eventually return to the parlor. I guess it's like the north wind and the sun. If you force someone to stay shut in, they'll resist, but if you tell them to do whatever they want, they'll come back obediently. People really do like not doing what they're told. Yeah, that's human nature in a nutshell. Even I can get pretty stubborn on occasions. When the servants finished cleaning up from the meal, they returned obediently to the parlor, just as Aunt Nasui had told them to do, and sat on the sofa near the entrance, patiently waiting orders. Maria, also as though she had suddenly finished playing witches, had returned to the pure Maria, as I knew well, saying, "Oh, oh." What in the world happened back there? And I hadn't felt even an atom of the presence of this person, called Beatrice, who was supposedly standing behind me, invisible. However, it felt like I glimpsed a little of that presence inside Maria.
確かに
You're right.
マリアちゃんは魔女とかの話になると人が変わるね。
When Maria starts talking about witches, her personality changes.
昨日海岸でバトラ君も見たでしょ。
Batlerkun, you also saw it down by the beach yesterday, right?
サソリのキーホルダーの時か。
You mean that scorpion keychain?
いや、
No.
あんな機嫌を損ね
Don't
るみたいな
mean
感
like
じじゃなくてよ。
when her feelings were hurt.
まるでその二重人格
I'm
みたい
talking
な感
about
じで。
her having a dual personality or something.
ああ、たまにそういうこともあるな。
Yeah, that happens sometimes too.
さっきマリアが魔法陣の話を始めた時みたいなやつ、た
That
ま
thing
にある
Maria
ぜ。
did when she was talking about the magic circle does happen every now and then.
気持ち悪いけどな。
It's freaky though. Apparently Jessica has spotted that Maria a few times. I just happened to catch it at a bad moment, and was pretty freaked out seeing it for the first time.
あれってのは何なんだ
So, what is that?
マリアは二重人格か何かなの
Does
か
Maria have a dual personality or something?
それとも本当に霊感が強かったりとかして
Or are you saying
そ
that
ういうのに
her
憑依されたりとか
spiritual
しちまうのかよ
senses really is that strong? And that she's being possessed by an evil spirit or something? Not sure why I said evil. My mouth filled it in and the word's not even on the screen.
そういうのじゃないと思うよ。
No, I don't think that's that.
バトラ君にも経験ない？
Haven't you ever experienced it?
小さい頃、自分以外の誰かになりたかった
When
な
you
ん
were
てこと。
small, do you ever want to be someone other than yourself? You mean only when you're a little kid? I experience that on a daily basis. When humans are born, we have no one has any individuality. However, when they reach their growth period, their sense of self starts to be born. They want to be different than other people. But since everyone else in their class is learning the same things at the same rate and being forced into the same lifestyle, of course, they aren't going to find anything that makes them different from everyone else around them. Once they realize that, the first thing they do is start breaking the rules in what's called their rebellious stage. Ever since everyone else follows the rules, they want to show off their individuality by breaking them. So even those who try to act tough, mocking everyone around them and calling them childish, can actually be viewed as cute kids searching for themselves, if you look at it that way. Well, I'm lecturing about all this like I am so smart, but I actually got it secondhand from George Aniki. I guess I was one of those embarrassing guys who thought it was cool to act like a little bastard. Well, that was when I was at the age where you try to show off for the opposite sex.
成長期の根底には子供から脱却したいという
Don't
ひ
worry,
よこが
Butler.
殻を破るのに似た衝動がある。
Every little kid has a little shit moment. Even I did. Oh boy, my probably wasn't as bad as some kids because I make no mistakes. But no, everyone has their little moments in their life. Some are a little bit different. Some are not show offy. Some just don't want to be bothered with. The main feature of the growing period lies in an impulse to break away from your life as a kid, like a chick trying to crack open the shell of their egg. Yeah, I get
子
that.
供と大人の違いは何かわかるかい？
Do you know what makes children and adults different? There's a big list on that, but what do you think, George?
年齢
Age?
それとも体格
Or do you mean size?
違うよ。経験だよ。
It's experience.
大人が子供を見下すのは
Adults can look down on
人生
children
経験が少
because
ないから
children
だよ。
have very little life experience.
子供が何を言っても鼻で笑ってしまうのは世間知らずのくせにと見下しているからだよ。
The reason they snort at everything children say is because they think kids know nothing about the real world.
ああ、そういうのわかるぜ。
Yeah, I understand that.
子供の頃って妙に人生ってもう悟りきったようなことを口にして年長しゃぶりたくなるよな。
When you're a kid, you talk like you got all life all figured out, or something. When you're a kid, you talk like you got life all figured out somehow, trying to act like an adult.
大人は子供が何を言っても
No matter what kids say,
世の中甘くないとか
adults just snort
社
at
会
them
に出れば
to
わ
say
か
they're
るとか
too naive,
鼻で笑ってる。
or that they'll understand when they get older, or something.
まあ実際そうなんだけど、子
Well,
供的にはそういうのって
it's
見
probably
下されてる
true,
みたいでムカつくんだよな。
but to a kid, it's just annoying, like they're being looked down upon.
なるほどな。
I get it.
知識や経験の有
It's
無
a
か。
question of knowledge and experience.
確かに
Well,
年齢だ
I
け
guess
無駄に
you're
食って
right
ても尊
that
敬
there's
は
no
されねえよ
reason to
な。
respect a person for their age. If they just wasted their lives. Battler, please don't say that.
となるとつまり
Therefore,
子供から脱
during
却
the
したいとい
period
う
where
衝
they
動を持
try
つ時期に
to separate
かつ他者
themselves
とは違
from
うと
other
いう個
children,
性を持ちたくなる。
they also try to take on personality traits different from those around them.
子供からの脱却がつまり知識や経験なのだとしたら
And if knowledge and experience, it would separate kids from adults.
なるほど。
I get it.
他人の持ち得ない知
And
識を
they
持つ
know
ことが
something no one else
一つ
knows.
のアイデンティティ
It
になるわ
becomes
け
part
か。
of their identity.
小学校の頃なんかさ、クラスの誰も知らないことを知っていたり、
You know, when I was in elementary school, I learned things no one else knew.
持っていたり身につけていたりすると
If
ヒ
things
ー
no
ロ
one
ー
else
になれたよ
had,
な。
wear things no one else wore. You became a bit of a hero out of it. Bit of a hero for it.
バトラもそういう経験あるだろ？
I bet you've done the same thing, Battler.
あるある。
Yeah.
何か一芸に秀
There's
でたいと
definitely
思
an
う
age
年頃
where
っ
I
て。
want to excel in some skill or other.
なるほど。
I see.
それが子供か
So
らの
that's
脱
because I
却。
was trying to
つまり
separate myself from
成
being a
長期
kid.
ってわけか。
Or growing through my growing period, in other words.
健全な意味での成長期はそうして没個性を脱却するために
If you put on a
人
positive
が
spin
持た
on
ない
it,
知識やスキルを
the
身に
growing
つける
period
ことを
forces you
促
to
す。
separate yourself from others, thereby pushing you to gain skills and knowledge no one else has.
これは社会学的にも面白いことだよ。
This is also interesting from a sociological standpoint,
人が没個性を嫌うために
because
人と
people
違
hate
う技
being like
術を身
everyone
につけよう
else.
とする。
They try to learn skills other people don't know.
これにより社会は幅広い技術を獲得して立脚
In
する。
this way, society can acquire the broad range of skills it needs to survive.
神々の高度なプログラミングに驚かされるね。
The quality of God's programming is truly surprising.
まあ、個性がネガティブに働くこともあるぜ。
Well, unique personality traits can also be negative, right?
クラスみんなが真剣に勉強してるから、俺だけはサボって目立とうとかよ。
Say everyone in the class was studying hard, but I was the only one slacking off, trying to stand out. Okay, that last bit really was true about me. I can see that, Battler. I can see that. It's only recently that I've been able to thank the middle school teacher who slapped me after school.
でもまあ、
But
誰も飛べない飛び箱を飛んでやりたいと
I
か、
tried to jump over things no one else could.
成績のいい連中
Sprint
を
as
周
fast as I
回遅れ
could,
にさせてやる
trying
ぜ
to
っ
lap
て、
those
マラ
guys
ソンで
with
全
good
力疾走
grades
と
than
か、
when we did a
そういう気持ちはあっ
marathon.
たな。
I just felt like doing it.
勉強はダメだったか
It
ら。
was in my nature.
少
That if
な
I
くとも
couldn't
運
study
動では
well,
見返してやるぜ
then at
っ
least
て
I
根
could
性はあった。
get back at them by exercising.
なるほど。
I see.
ちゃんと成長期してる
So
な。
I really did go through a proper growing period.
男子ってやっぱり肉体
I
的な
guess
方
boys
面に
really do
関心
tend
が
to
向くよ
focus
な。
more on physical stuff.
でもよ、同
But,
じ時期
you
に
know,
女子は精神的
Girls
な
of
面
the
に
same
向きやす
age
いんだ
tend to
よ。
focus more on mental, spiritual things.
バトラのクラスの女子にも
I'll
占い
bet
と
there
か
were a
霊感
group
と
of
か
girls in your
そんなこと言っ
classes
てる女子
that
連中
got
のグループ
really
があったりし
interested
た
in
だろ？
fortune telling and their spiritual senses.
ああ、ああ、
Yeah,
あった
yeah, there were.
人の星
They
座と
come
か
on,
血
they
液
come
型とか
over
聞いてき
asking
て
me for my
ああ、や
sign
っぱり
and my blood
X
type, and then they laugh like, I thought so.
とか笑わ
They
れると
really get on my
大いにム
nerves.
カついたもんだぜ。どこのクラスに行っても
No
女子は
matter which
占いが好
class
き
you
だ
go
し
to, girls like fortune telling.
決まって霊感に
Decide
強いだの
whether your
弱いだの
spirit
感受性
sense
が
is
どう
strong
こ
or
う
weak.
見えないものが見えちま
But
うだの
what your
そういう
sensitivity
出会い
is,
が必ずいた
whether
もん
you
だ
can
ぜ。
see the unseeable, that kind of thing definitely happened to me.
占いも霊感も学校では教えないものだからね。
That's because fortune telling and spiritual senses are things that aren't taught in school.
男の子と違い 内向的な世
The
界に関
girls
心を持ちやす
who
い
tend to
女
be
の子にとっ
more
て、
introverted.
それはアイデンティティを確
It's a
立しや
genre
すく
that is
て、
easy to
か
build
つ
an
興味深い
identity
ジャンルなんだよ
upon, and one that holds a lot of interest in them. I'm introverted as hell. I didn't like fortune telling. Oh, I will admit it feels kind of weird when it is accurate.
男子が成長期に入ると急に悪ぶったりして大人に反抗を
Just
始
like
める
when
のと
boys
全
enter
く
their
同じ
growing
に
period, they start acting tough and rebel against adults.
女子も成長期に入るとそういうのに興味が出るようになるんだよ。
When girls enter their growing period, they start getting interested in that kind of stuff, that kind of things.
私はそうでもなかったけどさ。
Well, I didn't though.
つまり
So, Maria is having so much interest in the occult. Isn't that
年頃の
rare
女の子
among
としては
girls her age?
そう珍しくもないってことか。
Even if we accept that, I wonder if it explains that creepy dual personality thing. Actually, I think I probably could accept that explanation, more or less.
さっきも言った通り、大
As
人
he
にな
said,
るというのは知
becoming an
識や
adult
経
means
験を持
gaining
つことを言
knowledge
う。
and experience.
だからそれを得るために子供たちはいろいろなことを
It's
学ん
necessary
で
for children
子
to
供を
learn
脱
all
却しな
sorts
けれ
of
ばならないん
things
だけど、
and break them from childhood, and break free from childhood.
子供の世界に
However,
今も昔もはびこっている
there are
ある
certain
便利な妄想があるんだよ。
convenient delusions that you can see often in the world of children, both now and in the past.
わかるかい？
You know what I mean?
漫画やアニメに多いだろ。
You see them all the time in manga and anime, right?
ほらあれだよ。
It's kind of like that.
前世の記憶が蘇って
Like you
と
got
か
memories from a previous life that start to resurface.
偉大なるなんとかの魂が乗り移っ
Like
て
like
と
you're
か
being possessed by the soul of the great something or whatever.
ああ、他にも遺伝子が覚醒したりとか、
Or it could be like a sleeping genie gets awakened.
封印されていた
Or
能力やら
maybe
記
a
憶やら
sealed
が
power
戻
or
ったり
memory
とか、
returns.
いろいろあるな。
There's all kinds.
どういうわけか。
For
あの時期はそういう
reason-
のがやたらと流
For
行る
some
もん
reason,
さ。
stuff like that really popular at that age.
どうしてだ？
Why is that?
今挙げたキーワードはすべて
All those
子供
examples
の自分に
you just
知
mentioned
識や
are
経験を
illusions
直
that
ちに
let
付加で
children
きる幻
immediately
想だから
add
だ
to
よ。
their sum of knowledge and experience.
9歳の女の子も1000年を生きた魔
The
女が
9-year-old girl says
私
she
に
has
憑依していると
a
言い出せば
1,000-year-old witch possessing her.
1009歳のアイデンティティが得られるわけだからね。
Then she gains a 1,900-year-old identity.
まあつまり勉強するのは面倒くさい。
So basically, studying is annoying,
でも人とは違うスキ
but
ル
these
を持って
delusions are
周りに威張
convenient
り
for
たい。
people who want
チ
to
ヤホヤ
brag
されたいっていう
about
連中
having
に
a
とっては
skill
便利な
no
妄
one
想
else
なんだよな。
has. Amazing the people around them. So, you could brag about something without having to work hard or study? I see. Isn't that a kid's greatest dream?
あとは子供からの脱却願望には必ず自分の理想像の自己投影が行われ、
Furthermore, in their desire to separate themselves from being kids, they always project an image of an ideal self.
その願望の姿が
And it's not rare
別
for
人
that
格として
desire
形成されることが少
to
なくない。
the desired self to become an alternate personality.
バトラ君だって家と学校では
Even you,
多少キャラクターが違うということ
probably
があ
had
る
a
んじゃない
slightly
かな。
different personality at home and at school, right?
多分家での自分の姿をクラスの友人たちに見せる
It'd
のは
probably
恥
be
ずかしいはず
embarrassing
だ
if
よ。
your friends at school saw how you were at home.
学校の自分は
At school,
自分のな
you
りた
try
い
to
姿の
project
投影
yourself
で、
as
家
you
の
want
自
to
分
be.
は本来の
But
姿だ
home
から。
is where your true self.
つまり、
So,
キャラクター
in
の
other
使い分け
words,
というか、
I'm changing my personality depending on the situation.
人格の多重化はごくごく当たり前だと
Are
言
you
い
trying to
たい
say
わけ
having multiple personalities is actually really common?
オカルトが好きな女子はそれを憑依と言ったり覚醒と言ったりするぜ。
A girl who's a fan of the occult might say she's being possessed or awakened.
正直ドン引きするくらいにキャラを変える子もいるよ。
Honestly, There are some kids who change their personality so much it's creepy.
男子にもいるだろ
Some boys do it too, right?
切れたとか言って
Guys who say they've blown their top and suddenly turn into some overplayed violent character.
あれ本人
I'll
はかっ
bet
こ
they
い
think
い
it's
と思って
pretty
るんだろう
cool,
けど
but
見てて
it's
痛い
painful
よ
to
な
watch.
つまりおさらい
Alright,
するとだ
let's sum this up.
マリアくらいの
So you're
年頃
saying
の女の子が
That even if
さ
a
っきみたい
girl
な
about
不気味
Maria's
な二重
age
人格みたいなのを見せ
shows
て
a
も
creepy second personality, like she did a minute ago,
それほど珍しいものじゃないと言い
it
たいの
isn't
か
such a rare or unusual thing.
簡単にまとめるとそういうことだね。
That's right.
アイデンティティは
Identity
自己を
is an
形成す
important
るための
factor
大
when
切なもの。
building up one's sense of self.
それをバカにしたりする
You
と
make fun of it,
かえって
it
その
could
殻に
actually
閉じこもっ
cause
てしま
children
う
to
こと
go
もある。
back into their shells.
だからほどほどに
So
付き合
it's
ってあげる
important
の
to go
が
along
大
with
切なん
them
だよ。
to some degree.
それを丸ごと受け入
Although
れてあげるのが
the broad
親の包容力というものなんだけどね。
the broad-mindedness of the parent determines whether they play along in full or not.
兄貴
Aniki,
それで独身って信じら
I
れねえ
can't
ぜ
believe you're single.
もう子供が中学くらいに上がってそうな貫禄さ
You sound like you're already raised. Sounds like you've already raised a kid through middle school.
じゃあ
So,
ローザおばさん
I
も
wonder if Rosa
Maria の二重
also
人格に
knew
ついて
much
は
about
よく
Maria's
知っていたの
dual
かな
personality.
知ってたぜ
She knew about it.
ここだけの話
Just between
ロー
us,
ザおばさんはすっごく嫌がってた
Aunt Rosa really hated it.
気持ち悪いしクラスでますます孤立を深
She
め
said
る
it
だけ
was
だって
unpleasant, and that Maria was becoming increasingly isolated from the rest of the class.
だからマリアがオカルトの話を始めたり魔女みたいな声で笑い出したりすると必ずビンタしてたぜ
So anytime Maria starts talking about the occult or laughing like a witch, she slapped her.
だからマリアもローザおばさんがいる時にはそういう話をしないようになったみたいだけ
It
ど
looks like Maria stopped talking that way in front of her. Yeah. And that is why Rosa... I know you have a hard life in childhood, but that's why I don't care that Rosa is currently rotting in the storage house. It's fine. We'll meet Rosa again later. But yeah, you can just keep rotting. It's fine. We don't need to see you for a minute. Maybe that thing back there was just a little game from a girl facing her growing period. Just a girl trying to show that she was different and independently by holding interest in witches and the occult. And since she wanted to be different from herself, young as she was switching between her normal personality and the personality of her ideal. A witch. A witch. A witch. Witch. At first I found that very disturbing. After being lectured by George and Nikki, I felt like this was a path everyone walked down at one time or another. I haven't told anyone, but when I was in kindergarten, I joined up with a little gang of kids trying to form an Earth Defense Force, saying we help protect peace on Earth. My face turned red when I remembered how during that week called battle practices, we couldn't chant ADF, ADF. Just like usual, Maria was relaxed, immersed in the TV, and laughing like any girl her age. But on the inside, another personality, that of the ideal witch she respected and blindly accepted was sleeping. But that wasn't anything extraordinary. It was perfectly natural for a girl of her age. I've calmed down a little. The shock from my bizarre experience in the kitchen just now is fading away. If I hadn't talked to Aniki and Jessica, I might still be frightened by the idea that an invisible witch is standing right behind me. However, can I really accept that as an explanation for what happened back there? If it just been Maria, I could explain it as the fickle delusions of a growing girl. But Genji-san, Kanen-kun, and Kumasawa Ba-chan have also been there. None of them had denied what Maria said. They silently accepted that Beatrice exists. I was starting to feel a little uneasy. Aunt Ava's position was that number 19th person existed. Aunt Ava's position was that no 19th person existed. That the crime was an inside job tied to the family's quarrels. On the other hand, Aunt Nasui's position was that the culprit was hiding somewhere outside the mansion. So she rejected the possibility of an inside job and supported the idea that a 19th person existed. And in the kitchen, Maria and the servants had also supported the idea of a 19th person. But according to them, this 19th person isn't human. They said it was an invisible witch carrying out some mysterious plan. Is there a 19th person or not? And is the culprit human or a witch? For some reason, I couldn't just laugh off any of those possibilities. Not even the most ridiculous story about the witch. You good? We good? The scene? Scene end?
ジェシカ、
Not quite. Jessica?
ベアトリーチェの話ってのは、俺の認識では、
All I know
森
about
に
the
子供
story
た
of
ち
the
が迷い
witch
込まないようにっ
is
て
that
ん
the
で作っ
adults
た
made it up to
大
keep
人の
kids
脅し話
too
だってこ
scared
とに
to
なっ
enter
て
the
んだ
forest.
が、この屋敷じゃ違うのか？
But is the story different here in the mansion?
うーん、
Oh, just a bit, just a bit, just a bit.
私もバトラと同じ意見だぜ。
I feel the same way you do, okay?
こんなのは子供
I
に
think
言う
it
ことを
was
聞かせ
just
るために
a
親が
typical
作った
story
間抜けな怪談
that
だと思
parents
って
made
る。
up so their kids would listen to them.
でも、そうだと口にはできない
Can't
空
deny
気の
that
屋
the
敷内にある
atmosphere
ことは
inside the
否めない
mansion
な。
makes it a little hard to say it out loud.
おじい様がベアトリーチェは存在すると公言されているからね。
Grandfather has proclaimed that Beatrice exists.
使用人たちは立場上それを疑いな
The
し。
servants can't doubt that.
クラウスおじさんたちも
Even Uncle
お
Kraus
じい様
and
と
Aunt
喧嘩がしたい
Nasuhi
わけ
don't
もない
want
か
to
ら
get into a fight with
表向
him.
きは口を揃えてる。
So on the surface, they go along with it.
だから多分このお屋
So
敷
it's
では
probably fair to
ベア
say
トリー
that
チェの存在を
doubting
疑う
the
ことは
existence of
ある
Beatrice
種のタブーだと
is
思うんだよ。
taboo to those who live and work in this mansion.
年に一度しか来ない僕たちと違ってね。
Who come here once a year.
そうでしょ。
Is that right? Jessica took a deep breath in admission. It looked like Aniki had guessed right.
ジョージ兄さんの言う通りだ
It's
ぜ。
just like you say.
みんな腹の中じゃ信じてる
No
わけじゃ
one
ない。
really believes it on the inside.
でも、表向きはその存在を認めてる。
They accept that she exists. They
ほら、
exist.
神様の存在を認めるよう
See,
な、
it's just like
そんな
the
雰囲気
way
だよ。
some people are about God.
実際にはいないことを知ってて
Even
も、
if you know God
それ
doesn't
を口に
exist,
出して否定したら、
they feel
ヤ
like
コ
it
みたいな空気だ
be
な。
uncouth if they actually said it out loud.
使用人たちの間ではどうい
How
うこ
do
と
you
になってる
feel? How do you think the servants feel about it?
やっぱり雇い主のじい様がいるって言ってんだから
Are they just going
そ
along
れに
with
口
it
調を合わ
because
せてるわけ
grandfather,
か？
their employer, says that she exists?
さあ、
Well,
詳しくはわか
I
らない
don't
けど、
really know the details.
使用人たちの間で
But
は、
between the servants'
ベアトリーチェ
story,
の話は、ある種の怪談扱いにな
but
ってる
between
よ
the。servants, the story about Beatrice has been treated like sort of a ghost story.
ほら、昨日海岸でシャノンが
Remember
話してくれた
yesterday
ろ？
when Shannon was talking about us down by the beach?
夜見回りをしている
That
時、
story about how
不気味
one
な何
night
かを
when
見
she
か
was
けた
doing
と
the
か、
rounds in the
そういう
mansion,
話。
she saw something unsettling? She did say something like that, didn't she? Back then, I thought she was just being really nice to help improve Maria's mood. But it felt like she was serious when she said it. That's right. She definitely said it. She definitely said the same kind of thing that Genji and the rest of had anomaly anonymously declared back in the kitchen.
他にも鬼火や輝く蝶々が舞っているのを見たという使用人も。
In addition, some servants have also seen or will of the wisp and glittering butterflies dancing around.
カノン君もそれらしいものを以前夜の見回りの時に見たことがあると言ってました。
Kanekan also saw something like that when he went patrolling one night.
あと最近ではお
And
屋敷の
recently,
中で
you
深
often
夜
hear
不思議
servants
な足音を
talking
よ
about
く聞
strange
くと
footsteps
使用人の間で
inside
話
the
題です。
mansion near midnight.
私たちは肖像画の中のベアトリーチェ
That
様が
Beatrice-sama
姿を
in the
消して
portrait sometimes
お屋
makes
敷の中
herself
を散歩しているんだろう
and
と
walks
ささやき合
through
って
the
るんですよ。
mansion.
ずいぶん前ですが私もそうかもしれな
It
い足
happened
音を
a while ago,
夜の見
but
回りの
even
時
I
に
have heard
聞いたこ
footsteps
とがあり
while
ます。
patrolling at night that resembles these stories. That's right. She definitely said that. Exactly the same thing that I have been told just now.
でも
But
怯える
there's
こと
nothing
は
to
な
be
いんです
afraid
よ。
of.
ベアトリーチェ様は親方様とは異
Beatrice-sama
なる
is another
も
ruler
う
of
一
this
人のお屋
mansion,
敷の主です。
separate from the master.
だから変
So
に怯えたりしない
there's
で
no need to be
敬意を持ってい
unnaturally
れば
afraid.
決して悪い
If
こ
you
とは
respect
しない
her,
のだそうです。
I hear she won't do anything bad.
ただし敬意を持たないと
However,
恐ろしいんだったね。
She can be quite terrifying if you don't respect her, right?
はい。
Correct.
私が勤めを始める直前に階段を
I have
転がり落ち
heard
て
that
腰
just
に大怪
before
我
I
をして辞
began
めた
working
方
here,
はベアトリーチェ様のことを悪く
someone
言っていたそう
who
です。
spoke badly about Beatrice-sama fell down the stairs and quit after receiving a large injury to their back.
だから使用人たちは
Because of that,
ベアトリーチェ様のお
there
怒
was
り
a
に
rumor
触れた
between
の
the
だろう
servants
と
that
優し合っ
Beatrice-sama's
たそうで
anger
す。
had been brought down upon this person.
敬わないと
If you
お
don't
怒りに
respect
触れ
her,
て怪我を
you'll
する。
suffer her wrath and get hurt.
つまり
So,
使用人たちにとって
to the
ベアトリーチェって
servants,
存在はお稲荷さんにいたずらしたら
Beatrice-sama's existence
お
is
狐
just
様の
as
たたり
credible
がある
as the
っていう
story
くらいには信憑性があ
as
る
the
わけ
story
だ。
that if you pull a prank on Inari-san, you'll receive Kitsune-sama's curse. Of course, even though everyone accepts that curses and the like don't exist in the modern era, people are still afraid and still have a little respect for them. You often see it when, in a residential area, someone is building a house and they call a Shinto priest for a ceremony to honor the god of that plot of land. You might think that was just a big waste of time and money, but it is said that if the workers don't do that, a big accident will occur. So they never neglect to do it. You also hear about how if Inari shrine is carelessly removed during a town replanning, there will be a curse by Kitsune-sama. I think I might have read somewhere that when the company forces were trying to extend an airport, they tried to remove an Inari shrine that was in the way. And the workers kept getting struck down by mysterious fevers. Even in modern cities like Tokyo, it wasn't rare to see modern buildings packed all around an old Inari shrine. leaving the shrine left itself untouched. And this wasn't limited to Japan. It's probably similar to how foreigners baptize babies. If I remember right, by Christian doctrine, if an unbaptized soul has even the slightest amount of sin, they will still go to hell. Putting water on a child's forehead doesn't do anything but make them cry. But if by doing just that, parents can prevent their children from going to hell, they will happily go with that ceremony. And in short, even in the modern society, for a reason, you are still unable to throw away that every trace of belief and fear. You could even say that we accept certain sorts of supernatural things, though in a passive way. Maybe the only difference on this island is that Beatrice is the object of that worship.
じゃあつまり
So in other words,
この島で
if
とても
anything
人間
happens
技
that
とは
doesn't
思えない
seem
何かが起
explainable
こ
in
れ
human
ば
terms,
それはベアト
it's
リーチ
called
の
the
仕
work
業
of
だ
Beatrice.
となるわけか、シャノンちゃんも言ってた気がするな。
I think Shannon Chan said it herself.
ちゃんと閉めたはずの窓や
Windows
扉や
and
鍵が
doors and locks
もう一度見回りに来た
that
ら
were
開いて
tightly
いた
shut
と
would
か、
be open the next time you went to check them.
消したはずの明かりがついていたり、
Lights that should have
つけたはず
been
の明かりが
on
消えて
went
いたり
out,
と
and
か。
lights that should have been out were turned on.
んで、確か
I
ジェシカ
remember
は
even Jessica was
朝出か
joking
けよう
about
とし
it,
たらカバンが見つからない
saying
の
it
もベアト
was
リーチの
also
仕
the
業
work
だ
of
ってふざ
Beatrice
けてたんだよ
when
ね。
she couldn't find her bag in the morning.
よく覚えてるな。
Your memory's pretty good.
普通なら妖精さんが
Normally
隠
you
したと
say
でも
some
言うところ
little
が、
imps took them.
この島ではベアトリ
But on
ー
this
チが
island,
になるってだけの
it's
話だぜ。
Beatrice.
ま、そんなく
Well,
だらない話さ
this。is all pretty stupid though.
このお屋敷も築30年くらい
This
になる
mansion
そう
has
だ
been
からね。
standing for about 30 years by now. Hasn't it?
それだけになれば
It's
多少
natural
の
for
階段
things
やオ
that
カルトは
old
生
to
まれ
get
てく
their
るもの
fair
だ
share
よ。
of ghosts and occult stories.
学校の七不思議なんかのようにね。
Like the 7 mysteries at a school.
そこで
But that's where I'll
チェス盤をひっくり返すぜ。
spin the chessboard around. Huh?
つまり
Simply put,
この島では
on this
人
island,
間にはできないこ
there's a
と
rule
ベア
that
トリーチの
Beatrice
仕業
gets
と置き換え
blamed
ることが
for
できる
anything
ルールがある
that
って
couldn't
わ
have
け
been
だ。
done by humans.
人間にはできないこ
Things
と
that humans can't do.
人間は何人だ
How many humans are here?
18人だ。
18.
つまり犯人は
In other words,
この
the
島のル
culprit
ー
is
ルに
using
の
the
っとっ
rules
て
of this island to make
こ
it
の
look
事件
like
は
a
魔女の
witch
仕業だ
committed
とア
this
ピールしてる
crime.
ことになる。つまりそれは
Which proves that
19
they
人目の
desperately
仕
want
業
us
で
to
す
think
よと
a
訴えたくて仕方
19th
がないわけだ。
did it.
気に入らねえ
I
ぜ。
don't like it.
全然気
I
に
don't like
入
it
ら
one
ねえ。
bit.
気に入らないって
What do you mean? You
何が
don't like it?
仮に
Let's assume
不可視の
some
19人目が
invisible
存在して
19th person
そいつが
exists
自分の存在
and
を
wants
アピール
people
し
to
たい
know
な
they exist.
俺ならもっと
If it were
完璧な
me,
タイミングでやるぜ。
I do it with even more perfect timing.
完璧なタイミングでってのはどういう意味だい？
What do you mean by perfect timing?
あ
Well,
あだって事
the
件
crime
は
took
深夜
place
から未明にかけて
sometime
起こった
between
の
the
は
middle of the night and dawn, right?
深夜まで話し合いをして
We
た
had
り
some people who were
夜勤をしてたり
talking together until the
あ
middle
る
of
い
the
は部屋
night.
に帰って寝てい
Some
たり
people on the night shifts, and some people who returned to their rooms and were sleeping.
どいつもこいつもアリバイがあやふやで
Everyone's alibi is
ジョー
really
ジの兄
vague.
貴もエヴァおばさんに聞
So
かされてるんだ
there's
ろ
plenty of room to suspect that the crime was an inside job. George and Nikki, Aunt Ava, probably told you too, right?
内部犯行の可能性が高いって話。
There's a chance that this crime was an inside job?
うん。
Yes,
まあね。
I guess.
つまり
In other words,
不可視の
this
19人
invisible
目が
19th
実在した
person
なら
really exists.
最初の事件は
And wants
自分のアピールに失
Want
敗して
to
る
let us know it. It wants to let us know it. This first crime was a complete failure.
いや
No.
そもそも
The first
時間帯がミステイク
They
だ
chose the wrong time of day to do it.
不可視の19人目
This
をアピー
invisible
ルするため
19th
には
person really wanted to show themselves.
死んだ6人
They
以外の
had to
12
make
人
sure
が
that the
全員
crime
白
took
であることが
place
確定している状況下で行われなければならない
under conditions which provided that the remaining 12 people were all innocent.
疑わしい人間
As
が
long
ゼ
as
ロ
there's
に
a
ならな
single
きゃ
human,
自
you
分
can
の存
suspect
在をアピールできない
this
んだよ
19th person attempting to highlight their presence fails.
だから全員のアリバイが一番あやふやになる深
That's
夜の
why
時間
near
帯は
midnight, when everyone's alibis are at their vaguest,
19人目
the
にとって
19th person
自分
exists.
が一番あやふやになる時間帯でもあるにもかかわら
And
ず
yet, the culprit chose
そ
to
の時
commit
間を
crimes
選
at
んで
that
犯
time.
行に及んだ
そんな時間に犯行を起こせば18人の誰か
By
が
committing
疑
the
われるの
crimes
は明
then,
白
none of the 18 would obviously be suspected.
にもかかわらずマリアに手
And
紙
yet,
を渡し
someone
て魔
handed
女を名
Maria
乗
the
り
letter and
誰も
called
が自
themselves a
分でないと
witch,
否定して
even
いる
though everybody denies they did it.
つまりベアトリーチェという19人目がいるよう
In
に
other
見せ
words,
かけたい人間
you're
が
trying to say that
18人の
the one
中
of the
にいると
18 is trying to make it look like a 19th person called Beatrice exists.
なんだかぶっ飛んだ発想
That's
だ
a
な
pretty crazy idea.
まだお袋の屋敷の外に不
I
審
think
者が
mom's
潜んでい
theory
るって
about
話の
someone
方が
hiding
信憑性
outside
があ
the
るってもん
mansion
だぜ
is a bit more credible.
まさかバトラーはこの客間の中に
Butler
犯人がいると疑っているのか
Don't tell me you actually think someone in this room is the culprit.
あ
I do.
あ何者かが俺たちに
Someone's
ベ
trying
ア
to
トリーチェが
force
存
us to
在
accept
すると
that Beatrice
認めさ
exists.
せようそうさ
That's right.
夕べのあの手
This
紙か
whole
ら
thing started as
も
a
う事件は
far
始まっ
back
ていたん
as a
だ
letter last night.
証拠も根拠も何も
Not
ねえけど
having
な
basis or proof. But with a chessboard
実弾を逆さ
turnaround,
にした限りじゃ
this is my best
俺の見
guess.
立てはこんなところだ
飛びまくってるにも
Seriously?
程がある
That's
ぜ
too crazy.
妙な推理小説の
You
読みす
sure
ぎじゃねえ
you
のかよ
haven't been reading to me weird detective novels?
でも無視できない着眼点も
It's
あ
an
るね
angle we can't ignore.
19人目がいるかいないかは
Whether
別に
there's
し
a
ても
19th person or not,
その犯人は
the
確
culprit
実に
definitely
この島
playing
のルールにのっとっ
something
て
involving the
何かを
rule
仕掛けて
of
き
the
ている
island.
僕はね
Just now,
今
listen to
バトラー君の
Butler
話を
and
聞い
talk.
ていて
I remember
少しだけ
something.
気持ち悪い
It's
ことを思い出してたんだよ
a little disturbing.
気持ち悪いことって
Something disturbing? Yes.
覚えてるかい
Do you remember
ベアトリーチェの手紙
Beatrice letter?
ベアトリーチェは
Is it that
利
Beatrice
子の
was
回
going
収
to
を
collect
行うと言っていた
interest?
ねそして利子とは後ろ宮家の全
And
て
by
だと言った
interest, it mentioned everything of the Ushimiya family. Jessica and I thought back on what Maria had read out loud the previous night.
言ってたぜ
Yeah, it did say that.
確かに言ってた
It definitely said that.
そして利子の回
That the
収をこれ
collection
から
of
行
the
う
interest
が
was going to
黄
take
金の
place
謎を解
shortly.
いたらその権
But
利
if the
を失
riddle
う
of
とも言
that
ってたよ
gold
な
could be solved, she'd lose that right.
おじい様は黄金を授かり後ろ宮
Grandfather
家を再
received the
興し
gold
た
and rebuilt the Ushimiya family.
つまり黄金を資本に生み出したもの全てが
In
利
other
子だって
words,
ベアト
according
リー
to
チェは言っている
Beatrice, everything created using the gold as capital counts as part of the interest.
つまり
Which means
冗談きついぜ兄貴
that's a pretty scary joke. It's very scary for a joke, Aniki.
まさか
You
後
don't
ろ宮家の全て
mean everything of the Ushimiya family.
つまりじい様が生
In
み出
other
したもの
words,
全てってこと
everything
は
that grandfather gave birth to,
じい様か
in
ら
other
血を
words,
分けた
everyone
一
with
族のことを
grandfather's
指
blood
すってのかよ
flowing through their veins.
あの手紙をそう読み解いたなら
If you interpret the letter that way,
この殺人は
these murders are
ベア
just
トリーチェが行
Beatrice
った正当な利子の
legitimately
回収という
collecting
ことになる
interest.
となればこの事件
If
は
that's the
まだ
case,
続くよ
these crimes will continue.
利子の回収は
because the collection
ま
of
だ途中なんだ
interest
からね。
is still only halfway completed. George turned around, looking over the parlor. There were still many people who held the name Ushimiya. Because of Goda-san and Shana-chan had been killed, we knew that not even the servants were safe, despite lacking the Ushimiya name. So,
私た
are
ち
they planning
全員を
kill
殺
us
すつも
all?
りかよ。でもおかしいよ、
But
ジョー
that's
ジ兄さん。
weird, Georgie-san.
ならどう
In
して
that
6人
case,
だけ
why only 6 people?
他に大勢
They
殺せ
should
る
have
は
been
ず。
able to kill a lot more.
下手をすれば
At
寝
worst,
込みを
it
襲っ
should
て
have
全
been
員を
possible
一晩
for
で
them
殺す
to
ことも
assault
可能だったはず。
everyone while they were sleeping and kill them in a single night.
どうしてそれをしなかったの？
Why didn't they do that?
特別条項だよ。
The special clause.
黄金の謎を暴く者
Someone
が現れ
manages
た
to
ら
solve the riddle.
利子の権利は失われる。
Their right to the interest will be lost.
そして手紙の最後にはこう結ばれていたはずだよ。おじいさまの黄金の
It
謎を
challenged us all to
みんなで
solve the
解いてみ
riddle
ろとね。
of the grandfather's gold.
ジーザス
Jesus!
ようやく犯人のメッセージが分
It's
かっ
like
て
we're
きたじゃないか。
finally understanding the culprit's message. Sorry, that was just a really place Ballard just saying Jesus, Jesus.
つまり犯
In
人
other
は俺た
words,
ち
the culprit
じいさま
telling
の
us
あの
to
日頃
try
の
and
謎を
solve
解い
the
てみやが
riddle
る
the
と言ってるわけだ。
grandfather had made.
しかも
On top of that,
ぼや
they're
ぼや
saying
し
if
て
we
れば
just sit around, they'll
どん
keep
どん利子
collecting
の回
interest.
収を進めちまうつもりだ。
I realize this is all based on several guesses that are way out there. But not everything that happened in this world is fit together in a perfect line. Most of the events we don't understand are only individual points. But fitting them into a straight line, we're beginning to understand. When the points are either end of the line or really close, the line itself is more logical and easier to understand. And when those points are really far away, the opposite is true. It's the distance between these points that make us say our guesses are way out there. However, if the distance we span are too narrow, that means our thinking will be narrow too. Is there a difference between making guesses and reasoning? Am I just using easily made guesses to try and force this crime into a pattern I can understand? No, that's not it. When you're lost in the dark and searching around with your hands, what you're doing is relying on your imagination and making guesses. Only imagination can find the points that need to be tied together. Reasoning is nothing more than the act of drawing lines between them. If you can't imagine, you can't reason. What I'm doing now might be way out there, but I'm sure it isn't a mistake either. Only the power of imagination can pull clues out from the darkness. And then I can use the power of reasoning to tie those clues together. It was a lot like the process of searching out an enemy's weak point and striking. It's okay if I'm way out there. Find a weak point first. Then we can think about how to strike. Right now is the time to find points we can tie together later. And that is the scene. Ooh, we're going back outside. And we went outside just to go back to the parlor. Any more? The witch's letter, the porch epitaph. The characters anything different? No. They all say the same thing, right? Yeah, they do. Okay. So let's save. Go to page 2. Legend of the Golden Witch. Alright. Wrong button. Alright, that's it for tonight. I wish we could stay a bit longer, but I can't. But I need to try. The time managing has been really bad lately. I was gonna try to do a schedule for this week, but I don't think I'm gonna have the time to do it. If we do stream tomorrow, it's gonna be either Blair Witch or one other main game. Blair Witch or Danganronpa. We haven't touched Danganronpa in a month. So either Blair Witch or Danganronpa. One of the two. But I do need to go. Thank you all for stopping by, even just for a second. Thank you, Cogs. So I'll see y'all later. Need to go. Don't want to go, but I have to go. It's fine, though. Me is fine. It's fine. Not really fine, but I pretend it's fine. Okay, bye-bye. Love you all. Have a good night or a morning. We'll meet each other sometime soon. If not tomorrow, then probably Thursday. Okay? Alright. Bye-bye. Love you. Bye-bye. Love you.